Hi, it's Nikki here from Enchanted Creations, and if you haven't seen my previous video, I took a bottle and showed you how to create the texture. So if you haven't watched it, go back and have a look because it'll be really interesting for you to see this video. In this one, I'm actually going to be showing you the techniques I use for painting and how to create something like this. This has the same textures on it. It has like the netting and tissue paper. And so I'll be taking you from that to the more beautiful bottle. I'm just going to dry this quickly because it's still a little bit sticky on the bottom. So what I use first of all is just basic acrylic paint. Cheap and cheerful is absolutely brilliant for this. You don't need anything expensive. And what I really love is using the offcuts. So the tubes are now almost empty. I cut them in two so I can get down to the bottom of them. And these are brilliant because it means I don't use too much paint, because I like, on my bottles, I like to build up lots of lighter layers rather than really heavy layers. And if you haven't seen my artwork of Into Art of Expression, I've got lots on this channel about it. You will see that I work a lot in layers, and this is the same, it's exactly the same technique basically as what I do with my bottles and what I do with my canvases, is I'm building up layers. And that's where the interest comes, because you can see colours that come through from the lower layers, a bit like in life really, you know, all our layers of life, that it kind of makes that the whole canvas of the person who you are right now in your life. So I'm just creating just this base coat of light, and I've no idea where this is going. I don't know what it's going to look like. The whole way I paint is just being in the moment and seeing how I feel at any moment rather than planning it out. It's actually impossible for me to plan out any of my art. If I do plan, I start to paint and it goes completely off the other way. So I'm just taking some random colours. And these first layers are really just about building up a base, building up some texture, some interest. And it often doesn't have any correlation whatsoever with the final look or the final layer. I'm just going to dry this now. Some black. I actually love, I didn't used to like using black, but I love the depth that it can create. It really, yeah, it creates depth, I find, with colour. This is also a brilliant activity for children because there's no exactness. It just allows you to explore your own creativity. Once again, going to dry. Another tube to cut. And it just shows you, you know, when you throw a tube, don't throw it out. Cut it out. Cut it in half, because you can see there's a lot of paint still in here that you can't actually get out. And I do love when I do my bottles and my pebbles that the paint is a little bit thick, a little bit sticky. So kind of like old and a bit probably dried out a little bit with the air, because it means I'm not actually putting so much on. I can layer it so much easier, especially on the later layers. But you can see how the colour is still, you can still see the old tissue paper. You can still see some of the old colour coming through. That may disappear with time when I start using the inks on it. So there's something else that I also love to do, and that is getting a thicker paint. So this is modelling paste for Pebeo Studio. So it's a relief paste, so it's a bit thicker than normal paste. It comes in white, and you just add a colour to it. So I'm going to add a bit of purple. So I've just put a blob on my plate with a little bit of purple. And then I like to use the thicker paint with a palette knife of some sort. I've actually lost my favourite one I was going to do it with, but never mind. And this is really nice for just creating thicker texture. Just tends to hold its shape a little bit more. You can find much thicker pastes and grainy paste, so they're also really good to try. But I like to do this where there's probably an area I want to hide, like that there's too big a difference between one layer and another, so I just tend to distract the eye almost. And then I'm just going to dry again. And I think I'll pause this because it will take a little bit of while to dry, and there's no point in you watching me drying. Okay, so I've just finished drying, and the areas where it's really thick, so obviously it takes time to dry, I just tap a little bit with my fingers just to flatten it out slightly, which is still adding texture, but it's just obviously quickens the drying. These are also really nice brushes to use because they spread the paint and it's just a little bit lighter. Oh, that tube's completely dried out. Well, I won't be using that colour then. I'll use a bit more of this green. And it's really just about, yeah, building the layers right now. So I say that you really don't need expensive paint for this. Cheap is brilliant. And the more layers you do, it's kind of, I say this with Intuitive Expression, that it's about letting go of layers that you think are really beautiful. Keep going, keep building up those layers, because that's what really adds the interest. I mean, I saw that purpleness here, and I thought, oh, that looks like a load of flowers, but I've painted over it. But that will probably come out again later on as I'm doing the layers. They'll probably reappear through the texture. But it's the layering that creates the interest. Don't just stop at your first layer. Dare to take it further. Dare to let go of the beauty of one layer and see what else happens. And it's kind of like in life, you know, that if you hold on to a beautiful moment, we'll never discover another beautiful moment. And it's about letting go of that and knowing that it's still there, it's still within the bottle, but we need to move forwards in life. So I'm just going to dry this one. So there we go. So what I will do, I've showed you the magic of how to paint the bottle. I'm going to leave the video here, and then in the next video I will be showing you how to use alcohol inks. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.